After delivering one of the most shocking deaths in television history, The Last of Us left viewers stunned and questioning what's next, with the source material providing many of the answers. The critically acclaimed video adaptation wasted no time making a huge statement upon its return, as Season 2's second episode recreated The Last of Us Part 2's most haunting moment. While the show pulled out some surprises, such as Jackson getting invaded by infected in Season 2, it remained largely faithful to the source material, especially when it came to depicting the brutal death scene that has everyone talking. Although the circumstances surrounding it were different, Joel's death finally happened in The Last of Us Season 2, and it seems like many viewers still haven't recovered. Video game players may have been prepared for this heartbreaking departure, but it certainly didn't make it any easier to watch, as Abby ruthlessly getting her revenge on Joel hurt just as much in HBO's adaptation and leaves the show without one of its main protagonists. As a result, there are many questions about where the story will go without him, and fortunately, The Last of Us Part 2 offers some clarity. While Ellie felt like the joint protagonist alongside Joel in The Last of Us Season 1, she will officially become the main character in Season 2 without her father figure around. Ellie was still a major character in the first game, but given players controlled Joel and experienced most of the story through his eyes, he was clearly the leading figure, with Ellie acting more as a deuteragonist. However, in HBO's adaptation, Ellie has always felt just as prominent as Joel, and after Pedro Pascal's character was killed off, there is no question she will officially become the overarching protagonist. The Last of Us Part 2 backs this up, with gamers spending most of the time playing as Ellie throughout the story, indicating that the majority of Season 2's plot will center around her. TLOU Season 2 has already made some big game changes, but while we may get more backstory on other characters and detailed flashbacks, Ellie will undeniably remain firmly in the spotlight. Her actions following Joel's death will drive the narrative and create most of the conflict still to come, meaning she will step up in Joel's absence and lead the rest of the series. As expected, The Last of Us main characters won't just sit around and mourn Joel's death. Instead, they'll be out for revenge throughout the rest of Season 2 and the majority of Season 3. Given all they'd been through, there was never any doubt Ellie would want to avenge Joel, especially after watching in horror as Abby ended his life. However, she won't be alone, as Tommy's upcoming arc will see him equally determined to get justice for his brother's death. Their journeys will be different, but TLOU Part 2 indicates they'll each be extremely violent and dark. In the games, Tommy leaves on his own to try and track down Abby, and while much of his story happens off-screen, elements of his bloody quest are present from Ellie's perspective. She too will be motivated by revenge in the series and will presumably leave Jackson alongside Dina as the duo looks set to follow in Tommy's footsteps and attempt to find Joel's killer. Episode 2 already showed how independent Tommy is as he took down a bloater by himself, and the game suggests these expert skills will be used to kill anyone in between him and Abby. Likewise, Seasons 1 and 2 have continued to develop Ellie's combat skills, and the trauma of witnessing Joel's death will fuel her to become more vicious as she seeks redemption. While they will have plenty of obstacles and distractions along the way, Tommy and Ellie's desire to kill Abby in The Last of Us will be their main motivation going forward, meaning they have a somber road ahead. Although Ellie is set to become the show's main protagonist, Abby will share a lot of the spotlight with her if the games are anything to go by. Despite being introduced as the main villain in Season 2, she will now be the closest thing it has to a deuteragonist, as we are destined to learn more about her story. Abby has already succeeded in killing Joel, and despite her motivations being revealed much earlier in the HBO adaptation compared to the video game, there is still much more to explore with this complex character. Rather than being a one-dimensional villain, the series looks set to explore what drove her to kill Joel in even more detail and how it impacted her life afterward. She doesn't simply lurk in the shadows until Ellie and Tommy come seeking revenge. Instead, The Last of Us Part 2 gives her a fascinating story with the rest of her group, who we've already met, while fleshing out the WLF faction. While many fans will struggle to forgive Abby for her sinister actions, Seasons 2 and 3 should help her win over some viewers. Her storyline with Lev is one of the most interesting parts of The Last of Us Part 2, and seeing the even more twisted characters she has to deal with, like Isaac, will earn her some sympathy. Redemption is hard to find in such a cruel world, but Abby's humanity will be a major part of the plot going forward, even if that seems hard to believe after her recent actions. Dina has been an instant fan favorite so far in The Last of Us Season 2, and she will continue to be a key part of the story going forward, as will her relationship with Ellie. Episode 1 highlighted that they were good friends with some romantic tensions, and the remainder of the story will make them even closer. Although Joel's death put Ellie on a dark path in the source material, Dina was the shining light that kept her grounded, something the TV show will surely replicate. Additionally, Dina is even closer to Joel in the show than she was in the games, giving her extra motivation to go with Ellie to Seattle. While the conflict they face will certainly impact their connection alongside some other plot twists, Season 2 should see them open up and continue fleshing out their feelings for one another. Isabella Merced's portrayal of Dina in The Last of Us does feel somewhat different from the game version, but she looks destined to have a similar role, which will cement her as Ellie's new closest ally. Perhaps the most underrated future storyline is Jackson's destruction, as it is an original premise that wasn't present in Part 2. While Ellie, Abby, Tommy, and Dina all seem like they will closely follow a similar path to the one they did in the source material, Jackson's fate looks completely different. In the video game, Jackson still has to deal with the nearby infected, but they never breach the community's walls, nor do they kill numerous residents. As a result, Maria and what's left of the council will have to inspire their people to rebuild without some key figures. Not only is Joel gone, but if Tommy follows his video game story, he will depart Jackson to pursue Abby, leaving the area without a key leader. Likewise, the source material indicates that Ellie, Dina, and Jesse will be absent from the settlement following this devastating attack, creating questions about whether the location can survive. Jackson's rebuild being a new story makes it harder to predict what will happen, but it could easily become one of The Last of Us' most exciting plotlines, and it will be interesting to see if the community can band together without these central characters.